things that were coming up there in Jennifer's two-way. Now, any question of dodgy voting or voter fraud, I'm not going to say fraud, of course, but any question like that would, of course, play into Mr. Trump's hands, who's been calling this for quite a long time, John.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy this has been the premise of part of his campaign over the last 3 or 4 weeks, last 2 or 3 months, really. And the idea, you know, sometimes you see this just regardless, right? So anytime you're behind, you're always going to claim media bias, that people aren't treating you fairly. But this has actually been a premise of the campaign. And for a lot of Republicans out there, they totally buy it. So that this idea that you have illegal voters out there, people that are been dead for 20 years coming out to vote again. So they believe it. They're going to vote on some of these issues. And the question is that if he loses tonight, what do they want to do about it if he comes out and says that it was rigged?
Austin, as our resident Republican, do you buy it?
To an extent, yeah. I think the Democrats are quite adept at voter fraud, and I do think that...
please, Austin.
And I think we see evidence of that of every election.
Now, there has been no evidence of fraud, has there, at this point?
Not during this election, not yet, anyways. No, of course not. Yeah. It's too early to.
And you, of course,
tell.
Wouldn't want there to be any.
I wouldn't. No. Of course, I wouldn't want there to be any. I mean, absolutely not. It's not something that anybody, I would hope, would wish for. But again, it's still too early to tell.
There has only been one case of voter fraud so far. It is a Trump voter.
Yeah.
Quickly, you two.
Let the people vote. A democracy is stronger when more people vote. The Democratic Party is about protecting voter rights and expanding voter rights. The Republican Party has been about voter suppression. Look at what happened in Nevada today. People were in line. They wanted to vote. The Trump campaign tried to stop them from voting.
Catherine, it's not fair to say the whole Republican Party wants voter suppression. There's parts of the Trump campaign who are doing this.
No, but in the sense the Voting Rights Act, part of it was struck down by the Supreme Court. How long ago? 18 months ago? In 22 states, Republican state legislatures have initiated laws that make it harder to vote in their states.
Let's keep in mind that we're not just having one election. We're actually having over 50 different elections in different states. Every state has its own rules. Every county, even to some extent, has its own rules, from the ballot machines, from the times that they're open, how many precincts, how many sites, early voting times and dates, who can vote. You have to have ID, not ID. And in many ways, Republican-controlled legislators, that means states that are controlled by Republican governors or legislators, are passing these laws that are considered voter suppression, that work against minorities, people that are poor, African Americans, Latinos, and
arrested,
others.
Black people get
at the end of the day, when you talk about voter fraud, it accounts for like less than 1%. The only, it's voter fraud unless Trump wins. When he won, up until he won, he was saying, hey, it's rigged. And then when he won, oh, I accept this. It's not as rigged anymore. But the danger in that is the message that his campaign is sending to the people that, hey, it's rigged. It's not good enough. In democracies, it's not good enough just to win. You also have to make sure the losing party or the losing group acknowledges and respects the outcome of the election. And if his supporters don't respect the outcome of the election, well, we're going to have trouble on November 9th. And that's really concerning and should be concerning to all of us. So I think it's really irresponsible. From things that are trending on Twitter right now, people are saying, oh, when they go to the polling site, some of these electronic machines, they keep pushing Trump and it's going to Hillary, and these are rumors. And then, and Trump is actually encouraging this type of stuff.
Okay, guys, we'll pick it up. Austin, 1 second. All night. We've got all night. Okay. Now, you are watching TRT World as America decides who will win the keys to the White House